Welcome to Uncommon Courtesy.
We give you the courtesy of conversation.
That's uncommonly spoke of.
I'm D-Mac.
I'm Wesley.
And this is the show. How you doing, Senor Wesley?
I'm good, man. How about yourself?
I'm good, man. I'm good. You know, a little hiatus. My bad. We can't take vacations because the news don't wait for nobody, so that's on me. Today in breaking news, Biden unveils his proposal to reform the Supreme Court. President Biden on Monday unveiled three proposals aimed at reforming the United States Supreme Court to combat what he called increased threat to Americans' democratic institution, aimed to restoring trust and accountability to the court and our democracy. One, the No One is Above the Law amendment. In an op-ed for the Washington Post outlining his proposal, Biden said he is postponing a constitutional amendment that would make clear that there is no immunity for crime a former president committed while in office. I share our founders' belief that the president's power is limited, not absolute, Biden said. We are a nation of laws, not of kings or dictators. Number two is term limits for justices. We have had term limits for presidents for nearly 75 years, Biden argued. We should have the same for Supreme Court justices. Under the president's proposal, a president would appoint a justice every 2 years to spend 18 years in active service as the Supreme Court. So that's also expanding the Supreme Court.
Yep.
Yeah, every 2 years, which is actually pretty good. You know what I'm saying? Get some fresh blood in there. Number three is a code of conduct. Currently, all federal judges in the United States are bound by an enforceable code of conduct. But for those on the Supreme Court, the ethics code is voluntary and self-enforced. The proposal follows the revelations of the Justin Clarence Thomas and his wife received hundreds of thousands of dollars in tuition and secret consulting fees from conservative billionaires and conservative judicial activists. Having a binding ethic code for the Supreme Court, Biden said, is common sense.
Yeah, I think so too. It's been when you let the minority of your country rule the majority, that's a problem. I don't care about they come out and they keep saying like Democrats don't like it when things don't go their way. Well, Obama was supposed to be able to elect a Supreme Court justice in his last year because I think
Mitch McConnell took it away from him.
Scalia died.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He was a Republican appointee. He was a Republican Supreme Court justice. He died. Obama had the time. He should have been able to elect. He could have pushed it through, really pushed him on getting it done. But I think he thought that Hillary Clinton was going to be president. Lo and behold, she didn't become president. And
but see, then the same thing happened. What's her name? The one lady, Ruth
Bader Ginsburg.
Yeah, she died. She died, and they had the same. It was the same thing with Republicans, and we're like, "Oh, let's wait for the election." They said, "Nope," and they pushed it right through.
I mean, but I mean, how I really feel about it, it's even bigger than just Democrat and Republican. This is really like people say stuff like the deep state, whatever they want to call it. But this is how I feel about it. This is this keeps Western rule in place for the next 40 years. When you have three Supreme Court justices that you just appointed who are all 50 and under, they're going to die in office. I think one of them was like 40 something. That the Comey, I think she was in her 40s with no experience at all. She can stay in there until she's 80 or 90. Ginsburg died in her 90s. I mean, they thought she was dead before they even told us.
Yeah, Ginsburg was a racist, anyways.
I don't know much about her.
No, they had some stuff they had to take out of her quote talking about George Floyd and whatnot. Like, I mean, but it's neither here nor there.
I believe it. Yeah, I mean, I do believe it. I mean, most of them probably were. You got to remember the country that we live in. Just because you're a Democrat doesn't mean that doesn't abstain you from being against certain nationalities and whatever else. I think that this country, that's what I'm saying. This whole entire Supreme Court's been set up to keep one rule in place for the next 40 years, no matter if that population is no longer the lead population in this country or not.
Or if their policies aren't even good ones. Like, people don't even believe in their policies. That's why they're trying to do Project 2025 to make it authoritarian, because no one would vote on their policies. They're arcane, they're old, and so now you're ruled by these four people. Six of them that are just going to be able to tell you what to do.
9 total, but they got 6 at 6-3.
Yeah.
When it was 5-4, even them being in the lead, it was 5-4. Roberts was a moderate. He was a moderate on the bench. He was really young when he got appointed Chief Justice. He shouldn't have been appointed Chief Justice.
Yeah.
I think that Bush, the second Bush, put him in place. He was like 40 something years old or 50 or really, really young Chief Justice. He's the one, basically Chief Justice, the one who governs over the Supreme Court. He put him in place. And then when they had they heard Obamacare, he's the one who decided that he went along with the Democrats, with the democratically appointed Supreme Court justices. So I mean, he was kind of a moderate, but now he's no longer a moderate. He's like, he understands this. They call it the Thomas Court now, because they normally name it after the Supreme Court justice. They'll say like it's the Roberts Court, but right now they're calling it the Thomas Court because he has that strong right wing. He's been there longer than anyone else. So right now they're saying they got a chance to change it, but I'm not sure the route they're going to take to get it done.
I mean, he might as well just do it like, make it a official, his own. He should just do it himself. Like, why even go through the proper channels? That's what's wrong with Democrats. They try to play by the rules while the other side just like, we're going to be sneaky, cheat, and do how we want to do it, and there's nothing you're going to do about it. It's pathetic. I mean, everything should have term limits. I mean, congressmen, senators, if the president has term limits, everything should have term limits. I don't think, especially a Supreme Court justice, but I mean, this all goes back to the election 2016 with Hillary Clinton. You had your chance. Elections have consequences. Just like you're doing now with Kamala Harris, you're trying to make all these excuses and all this stuff. You did that for Hillary. And how did that work out for everybody?
Yeah, what they're saying.
It didn't work out for a lot of us.
Yeah, what they're saying, ultimately, the electoral scenario that reform advocates need is a Democratic trifecta in the fall. Control of the White House and both houses of Congress. So they really have to win both houses of Congress to even get these reforms through that he's talking about.
Yeah.
He's just pretty much putting out, hey, this is what I want to do, but he can't enact that without actual legislation.
But that'll show you, that'll make Republicans look bad because they're going to fight it. They'll be like, no, we don't want to do that.
They don't care.
Yeah, it's cool, but it's an election year. You better care.
I don't think their people care. This is the part. This is no longer Republican Party. I know we say Republican.
Yeah.
This is the party of MAGA. And you think any of them care about him having immunity? They want him to have immunity from everything. They want to give police immunity. They don't care. They know that these
Donald
things
Trump
are
came out
not
and
going
said
to
that.
affect them.
Yeah, he wants to give police immunity. He lost the black vote right there.
I mean, but did he? I mean, I hope he lost a good percentage of it. That's what I would look at. People who understand. They've been talking about it a lot. You got a lot of people on the internet talking about.
And, and I'm not going to let none of his people try to wiggle out, this is what he said, unless he comes out and say it, that's what he said. We're not doing this like last time.
I know that he came out, he not only just said that he wanted to give him immunity, he also said some other things too. I don't know if we want to jump right into that right now.
Yeah, we could. Why not?
Why not?
It's part of the news.
But I mean, he also came out in a where was he at? I'm not sure. I think he was talking to a Christian, some type of Christian organization. When he came out and he was like, basically, just come out and vote for me, Christians, just one more time. You only got to vote this one last time. He said this before another time, too, about coming out and voting one more time. He said, after this, we'll have everything fixed. I mean, it's kind of ambiguous what he was saying for a minute. He was like, you won't ever have to vote again because we'll fix it.
He's like, you won't have to vote again, ever again, because he's going to be a dictator. I've been saying this since we started this show. I told you exactly what was going to happen. Mm-hmm. I was like, you left all the people that tried to overthrow the United States government in power. This time, they'll have everyone in place where they won't even have to. They'd be like, election? No, we ain't doing that. Yeah. They don't have to. Everyone will be in place.
Yep.
They probably got stuff in place now. They had the one dude in Arizona going through the voting machines trying to see and figure out how it works. You know what I'm saying? Then they had to take the machine and throw them away. These people, you left them all in power. The plot is there.
Yeah, and they already got the Supreme Court setting it up. So they gave him immunity so he can do what he wants to do. I mean, the bigger thing too, that you made a really good point. We were talking about this, and it's something we had discussed on the last show episode that we did. You were talking about how when they form these whole, I guess you would call them immigrant catching,
posses
teams, whatever you want to call them. That's going to become like an army, a militia. They're not, like you said, they're not going to, what do you think they're going to do when this job is allegedly done or whatever you want to call it?
They're not going to be out of work. They'll be like, hey, well, let's go get all the criminals. Now, who are the criminals? All the people that were supporting. It's going to be like this. It's like the Underground Railroad. The people helping the migrants are like, well, we got to get them. Now we're going to go online and look up who was supporting all these migrants and these illegals that are Americans. We need to get them too.
They've been, because you're going to have to arm them. You're going to have to arm them. He's going to hire his own supporters because he's going to put his own people, Trump supporters, in the federal government before this, in all the offices before this. So he's going to have these same people in power here too. I mean, so. And
then they're going to be like, well, check it out. Everyone's immigrants. If you're black or brown, they're not even going to distinguish because they're not real law enforcement. They're just loyalists.
You don't have to. He's going to give them immunity. He's also, I mean, if you reinstate stop and frisk, they already have laws in states like Idaho and Georgia. We talked about this, where they can pull you over and let me see your paperwork. Pretty much.
Think about, you give these random people that aren't even trained. They're not going to be trained because you're going to give them immunity. They'll just go and kill everybody and be like, hey, well, yeah, it looked like he had a gun. We didn't find one, but it looked like he had one.
The thing that he's saying, though, is federal immunity. You know what I mean? But the bigger thing is, though, what states are these people going to be operating in? Most of them are going to be operating in red states.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Midwest states. That's how it goes.
No,
so
they're going to be in all the states. Think about it. He's going to be the king. He can just say it, whatever. And you're going to have to do it.
I almost wonder, is he going to try to send in the National Guard? He's going to try to send in the military?
It's going to be a revenge tour. That's that's all his.
Because I know we've never had the military barge through, pretty much. I mean, you've had the National Guard in cities because they during the civil rights movement and all that stuff, they've had to send in the National Guard.
Yeah.
They kind of, but we've never had militarized, what is it called again? When you have a government, a military takeover, pretty much.
It's a military coup, isn't it?
No, that's not a coup. It's not. It's just I forget the terminology for it right now, but we'll come back to it later. But the point of it is, though, that's
martial law.
Martial law.
Martial law.
That's pretty much what he's gonna. He could enact. We never had that happen here, from my knowledge. But this is what he can do. He can go into cities like say, oh well, Chicago, it's too violent there, and just send in. And we're gonna dictate martial law here, and this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna stop all this, and we're also gonna. It's just, there's just a lot that's.
Yep, they'll be like, oh, it's the youth between this age and this age. We need to lock them all up and kill them all. Hey, while they're locked up, let's make them work.
And they've already. I know some of the stuff we're saying that may be overboard, like about. It may sound overboard. Some of it is, and maybe some of it is.
This is real. This ain't no overboard.
No, I understand what you're saying. I'm just saying, like, when a person listens to us, we're saying certain things. They're gonna listen to it and come out with their own conclusions of it. Especially a person who votes from that side of the line. Oh, you don't have any proof that he's gonna do any of these things. He's already said that he's gonna put together a band of people and get rid of 18 million migrants. He's already said this. This is already gonna happen. What do you think he's going to do? Like we already told you. What do you think they're going to do with those people? 18 million. They're going to need to at least hire 500,000 more people to deal with this problem.
And where are they going to hold them until they get rid of them? How are they going to send them back? A lot of them kids ain't going to make it.
Billions of dollars to do all this, man.
Yeah.
It's going to cost billions.
But then, like I'm saying, and once they get done getting rid of all the migrants, who do you think they're going to come for? You think a lot of people ain't going to get mixed up in there? Like, oh, well, you ain't got an ID on you. We're going to take you too.
Absolutely. That's what they're going to be doing. That's what they're going to do to everybody else. Give me your ID. Right now, you don't have to give the law enforcement your identification unless you've done something. Unless you're. And
you're going to have these violent people. They're going to be dragged. Think about it. To them, migrants have no. They have no laws.
No rights.
No rights, excuse me. They have no rights.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to be dragging these people from their homes, beating them and all that stuff. You think all that anger is going to go away once they get rid of all the migrants?
And it's not even
now they're going to turn on us.
It's not even just anger. It's just going to be the excitement of that power that they're going to have against them. They're going to have that kind of power. And you can pretty much probably suspend elections in certain places with martial law, all kinds of stuff he can do. You know what I mean? So you got to really look at this. This is not a joke when a person says you won't ever have to vote again.
I think the migrant stuff, it's getting a little out of hand. Some people can go. You know what I'm saying? But somebody was like, yo, why you want the migrant coming in here raping our women? I'm like, bro, you're already doing it. So why are you going to point out? I'm like, you're already doing it and getting away with it. So why are you trying to point at these people that don't even speak English?
And it's like, and how many migrants that raped a woman? Now, I'm not saying it's not happening. I'm not saying they haven't killed anybody, but ask that person how many they know, not who they've heard of or what they've heard on the news. One instance here or one instance there. There's 340 million people in this country that we know of that are verifiable Americans.
And there's a lot of crime that they don't report because it's not going to stir your heart.
And at the same time, though, they don't report that a lot of these migrants actually have jobs here that are agricultural work, a lot of different kind of work, manufacturing work, all kinds of stuff that they're doing that Americans don't want to do. You know what I mean? So that's we got to kind of get past all that. But right now, it's a good way to divide the nation. So they're using it. Everyone's so angry at migrants, but how many of them have stolen a job from you? How many jobs do you have where they're like, oh nope, we're going to give this migrant your job? I've never had a migrant take anything from me.
And if you lose a job to a migrant, there's something wrong with you.
Yeah,
like I said before, it could be landscaping because landscaping is big business.
You act like there's not another house. There's another house next door. Period. Figure it out. Go give a better deal. Do better work. Do something. You know what I mean? This is America. It's competition. So even if they were here legally and they all just got here legal, they're going to work for less than what you're going to work for anyway. Because they're willing to live together in a home until they get to a point where they can get out here and go figure it out for themselves, man.
And the cool thing about it is the American dream is dead for the rest of us because the people that are in charge, Democrats and Republicans, have made it that way. And they keep us squabbling between each other. So now we're mad watching somebody else come into America trying to live that American dream that's out of reach for us because it's no longer feasible. It's not real no more. You're not getting that white picket fence and that house and the dog with 2 kids. You can't afford it. And if you can, you don't want no kids because you don't want to have to afford them. It's $500 a month for child care. Excuse me. $500 a week for childcare.
Actual
per kid.
People are paying a lot of money like that. It's
Yeah.
crazy. I know that. Like I said, man. Right now, they're trying to force people to have children. You look at J.D. Vance, man. They're trying to take away contraception. They're trying to act like even contraception.
Only thing J.D. Vance is doing is a lazy boy couch.
What'd you say?
You ain't see that? The report where he talked about he used to jack off in between the couch cushions.
Nah.
Yeah, bro.
I ain't seen that one.
Yo, somebody made a montage of DMX what these bitches want from a nigga, and they were like, and they showed different couch. It was Brenda, Letitia. You haven't seen that story? Bro, I
haven't seen that.
He admitted to it.
I'm gonna tell you right now, he's a weirdo,
it.
man. Everybody kind of knows that he's weird. The Republicans knows that this guy's weird too. He's come out calling Kamala and other Democratic, lawmakers. Lonely cat women who don't have children, childless cat ladies, or whatever he said. I mean, it's crazy. He said the Democratic Party is really pretty much led by childless, like lonely people. He's saying like AOC doesn't have a child, Kamala Harris doesn't have a child, Pete Buttigieg, I think he's gay or something like that. I'm not sure. But he can have a child.
Okay, so the rumor was false. That's what they're trying to actually. False on the rumor about U.S. President Donald Trump.
See, look at that. Look, that's real time.
A latex glove and a couch. He said a latex glove and a couch cushion spawned a number of jokes and memes.
They say, but that's real time fact.
Yeah, I wanted to look it up because I don't want y'all going out there like, yo, he's fucking couches.
Poetic Flacco. I told you about this guy. But that was a good one though. But yeah. So I mean, it's just. Well, let's see what happens with the Supreme Court thing. But let me jump into this next thing here. Kamala Harris has America focused on multiracial identity. An election year that was already bitterly partisan has completely upended by President Joe Biden's decision to drop out of the 2024 White House race and endorse Vice President Kamala Harris. But it's not just Harris' late entry that has electrified things. It's also the history to be made if the likely Democrat nominee becomes the first female president who is also multiracial. The daughter of a Jamaican father and an Indian mother, both of whom immigrated to the U.S. during the Civil Rights Movement, Harris' historic presidential bid has again put spotlight on American identity politics and the growing number of people who say they are multiracial. Different countries divide people into categories depending upon different national traditions. The U.S., with its slavery-molded history, divides people into black or white, and 9 million people identify as multiracial in 2010. So, I mean,
I get what they're saying, but I mean,
we're taking this on the chin in our community. You hear, I'm on different social media sites, and I got our own people. There's like, you ever heard of Swale? Not saying that I even listen to this guy. Swale from what was that?
Sway Lee.
Swale, whatever.
Sway Lee. You don't listen to Ray Sherman?
Back in the day, man, what did they make?
Most of them young people like to swang.
That was then, though. You know what I mean? They haven't.
No, he's Flex Zone.
He's made some pretty good songs.
No Type.
He's actually made some
Unforgettable
good
songs. with French Montana.
French Montana. That's what I'm saying. He's made some other good hits. So don't get me wrong. But what I'm saying is, he's like, I had to pay millions of dollars in taxes, man. You should got to pay attention to people. She's not even really black, and this, that, and the third, and blah blah blah. They sent all my money, billions of dollars over to these other foreign countries.
Who cares what Sway Lee has to say at a time like this?
It's a bunch of different other people saying it.
I never heard Sway Lee make a political song a day in my life. Look here, folks. Listen to this. Don't listen to anyone that has enough money to flee the country when the person they don't like gets elected. Okay? If we stop listening to those people, then we would actually might get somewhere here in this country. First of all, Sway Lee, don't listen to Sway Lee.
Lil Pump. You heard Lil Pump?
Who cares about Lil Pump?
I know
Lil
that too.
Lil Pump is Cuban. Yeah, First of all, check it out. He made a MAGA song, and his rap career was dying before that. Look, and no one cares about Amber Rose. She's an industry thought.
Yeah.
All right?
But
she's there to get piped down, and she doesn't have good box because everyone keeps leaving her. Look, her body is banging, right? But if your box is bad, nobody wants to open that gift anymore.
This is what I'm going to say. You know what I mean? I don't know about that, but I understand what you mean.
Yeah, no, you can tell. You can tell.
But this is what I'm going to say about that. I mean, there's a lot of other people who are coming out and saying the same things,
okay,
though.
So Kamala Harris, her dad's Jamaican, her mom's Indian. She's basically a multicultural American. She's not black. She's black, but she's not foundational black American.
Who else was that same exact thing?
Barack Obama.
We took him in. We said, but the bigger people who I'm hearing saying this are white people. They're saying it more than anybody. They're going to our
because they think that's gonna disrupt us. Be like,
exactly.
Well, why?
They go to
and we're looking at them like, why are you talking to us?
They're coming onto our social media news sites that we're on, and I'm watching people. Well, she's not even really black, and she put a bunch of black people in prison. They're trying to like stir up. And I'm like,
Donald Trump called all the NFL players "mama's bitches." He said, "Tell all them sons of bitches to get out of here." Dead ass, bro.
I remember he said
Dead
that.
ass. He said that.
I remember
he called
he
all
said
they
it.
mamas
I remember
bitches
he
because
said
they
it.
was fighting for justice for black folks so we couldn't get murdered in the streets.
I mean, and just like, like we got other people came out and did say things like, man, why are you even saying this when Donald Trump wants to give the police immunity to kill us? And
he wants to give the police immunity, bro.
You look at
Conversation
what Candace
over.
Owens. Look at what Candace Owens is coming out saying.
Who
Don't
cares
fall
what
for
Candace
this.
Owens got to say? Candace Owens is from the Bahamas. She's not a foundation. Okay, so this is the thing. Kamala Harris, her dad's Jamaican. Her mom's Indian. Mm-hmm. She can claim black, that's fine, but she's not a foundational black American. She's not a descendant of slaves. That's our issue. Think out. Barack Obama, he's African. His dad's African, some Kenya or whatever, right? Michelle Obama, that's black. All right? Michelle Obama's foundational black American. That's why she was on the TV doing the Dougie, because she can do it. All right? There's a difference. You know what I'm saying? Will Kamala have our best interests? Only time will tell, but she's a Democrat. You know how they do black folks. They come, they eat the chicken, they go to church, they play the saxophone, they leave.
I'm going to say something really quick too, man. This is kind of like off subject, but it's on subject. They're talking about her vice presidential candidates. One of them, I can't remember. I think his name's Shapiro. I think he's from Pennsylvania, right? This dude, I mean, this is another conspiracy theory that I have, and this is not a racial thing. It's just me seeing that the doors are kind of closing in on us when it comes to, our ethnicity type of thing, I guess you would say. He's a Jewish dude. You know what I mean? Like, he's a Jewish dude. Her husband's a Jewish dude. The president of Mexico is a Jewish woman. You know what I mean? Like, this not like this isn't like like Jewish people are like the people from India. Like, there's a billion of you. There's probably less Jewish people in the world. You're gonna have to find out. Then there are I know that. Then there are black people in America. So I'm like, it just seems strange.
Odd how they're holding all the power.
It just seems strange to me. I mean, if you look at, I'm guaranteeing you, watch over the next two. Either it's gonna be the 28 or the 32 election. Osloff or whatever his name is, from Georgia, the senator from Georgia. He's a Jewish dude, white dude. He has that. He gives me vibes of JFK. You know what I mean? He's probably going to be a great candidate, but he's a Jewish dude. You know what I mean? It's just like you can see and he won in Georgia. Like, it's crazy to me. That's deep Christian Southern. You know what I mean? It's just, to me, I don't know, but we'll see where it goes from there. But with Kamala, the whole thing with her, I look at it like this. She grew up in Oakland, California. She went to an HBCU. She pledged a sorority. That's a black sorority.
Yeah.
Let's be real here. She's dated, been around black men. She claimed her blackness, period, plain and simple, understanding what that is. I understand that we're foundational blacks, and even Africans will tell you, they're like, we put our tribe and everything else ahead of our skin color. You guys, as us being blacks from America, we don't know where we're from.
No, we created our own culture, which the world copies. So you see breakdancing is in the Olympics.
Black is pretty much. You said in the Olympics?
Yeah.
I know that.
I've been waiting the whole time. They got skateboarding and they got breakdancing in the Olympics. That's all I'm waiting for. I told you I wanted to be a world-renowned breakdancer when I was a kid, and I never had the upper body strength. And so we do a T-flare.
We put our blackness, that's our tribe, is being black. We all identify with each other, even though we're probably all from different tribes all over Africa. A lot of us are from different tribes.
But don't you see how people are? Oh, my bad. Go ahead, say your point.
Go ahead.
People are really upset that we're trying to distinguish ourselves from the foreigners coming in. They call them tethers, because a lot of the people didn't come in until after the civil rights movement. They knew it wasn't safe in America. And so the thing is that makes a lot of us upset is that they get in these positions of power and they try to undermine us.
Yep.
They try to say, oh, we don't need reparations. We don't need that. No, because your lineage wouldn't get none.
And at the same time, you weren't a part of that fight. You weren't a part of any of it.
Yeah.
You didn't have to deal with any of it.
You just rolled in. Stephen A. Smith, academics. That one dude that he's Nigerian. He's on the NFL. He's on like some sports thing. There's a lot of people that are in these positions, and they're not foundational black Americans. Like, one thing about Stephen A. Smith too, it's like he goes hard on us. Like, he goes hard. He went hard on Kyrie. Stephen A. Smith is basically, he runs ESPN.
I know who he is, but what you saying, he's not foundational black?
No, he's from Jamaica. That's what I'm saying. That's the issue, right? Because they don't have our best interests in hand. They feel like a lot of foundational black Americans feel they're bringing these immigrants in to replace us. Like, you ever see that big muscular dude that be dancing when he gets the food? Nigerian.
I know you talking about
Nigerian. Bro. You see the one dude that be like that when he be eating the food and they be dripping in front of him, looking like a monkey? Nigerian.
Look like a monkey.
For real, he be doing goofy stuff.
I don't agree with him saying that right there at all, Mace. You crazy.
No, for real, that's what he be doing. He be jumping up and down, acting like he's a monkey. But these people aren't foundation. They're not from here. If you see those black folks that be like extra loud and mad, excuse my language, niggerish, those aren't foundational black Americans. Those are foreigners, first, second generation immigrants that have come here and just kind of like decided to do that. That's why they act like that. There's a difference in our lineage, and people are upset that we're separating ourselves.
I've seen this guy talking to, like, they were on some kind of a stream together. It was a black dude. I'm sure he was a foundational black man, young dudes. And there's another black dude on the other side. He was like hanging out with like 3 or 4 white dudes.
Oh, I'm Congolese.
You see that? And he was calling him N-word with an ER. And he was saying that to him, because black dude was like, "What's up, my?" You know what I'm saying? This and the third, man. Because these dudes is being racist.
That don't affect them, bro.
He was like, "I'm not one of you." And he called him. I'm like, he said, so that tells me a lot. It speaks volumes. I understand.
Well, they call us a kata. That's what they call it. It means lost cat. To them, it's lost cat, but it's like because we lost our culture in the slave trade. We had to create our own, so they come over and call us a kata. You can look that word up.
It is what it is, though. You know what I mean?
I ain't worried about it. If your country was so good, why'd you leave? You over here.
I've seen somebody cook somebody over something like that, too, who was talking crazy.
And I also want to say one thing, too. Look here.
Fresh and Fit. You heard of that podcast, Fresh
and
Fit?
Yeah. Oh, that dude's white. Yeah, Tariq Nasheed got him.
He got
Tariq Nasheed. Yeah, Tariq Nasheed cooked him clean.
I saw that and I was like, oh.
Yeah, Tariq Nasheed changed my life. Yo, check it out. Also this. Remember, folks, if someone goes online and say, "Well, I'm a black person," and this, they're not black.
They're not black.
They're not black.
You saw the guy on
here? He saw one guy who forgot to switch his Twitter. He's a fool.
Like, you got a picture of a guitar in a chair, bro. No black people have pictures of guitars. I'm trying to say we don't play the guitar, nothing like that, but that ain't going to be your
No black person starts with, "Well, I'm a black person that lives in Michigan." We don't ever talk like that.
You ain't got no picture? You ain't got no picture on your thing?
No, you can't even believe the picture. You got to zoom in. Sometimes it'd be like Denzel Washington. Like, come on.
I'm like this, man. Period. Playing. They're trying to say that this is a way for them to. I just love the fact to hear another race tell us, "Oh, that person's not black." When they used to tell us, "1 drop of black blood, you're black." But before all of a sudden now, when it's something else that could be beneficial to us, they're not black. They're this. Like, dang.
Because they see the problem. They're like, look. They thought they had a chance with Sleepy Joe. I'm going to say that, right? Mm-hmm. But now Kamala Harris is, because he's Sleepy Joe, he's too old. Mm-hmm. Now Kamala Harris is here, right? And then now you're looking at Trump, and he old as hell. Mm-hmm. And he's fumbling. His brain wasn't there either, but his brain was more there than Joe Biden. Mm-hmm. So now it's like, one thing's bad enough. Like, it's bad enough we have Barack Obama, but nobody wants to have a black woman in charge.
And then when you start dealing with things like X, you're dealing with that station over there. They're really trying to come after her, too. I feel like, he, what's his name? Elon Musk.
Yeah, we're going to talk about Elon. Yeah, and then so Elon, he posted a deep fake of Kamala Harris. It's a video.
What is a deep fake?
A deep fake is where somebody takes a video and then they make a video of somebody, then they change the words or they change what's coming out of your mouth. They do that with Joe Biden all the time. He's like, you seen the video of Joe Biden? He's like, "Yeah, I knew you bitch ass motherfuckers wanted me out of here." Like while he's sitting there, and they made a deep fake. But the thing is, Elon Musk owns Twitter, X, whatever, right? And it said the video first reshared by Musk on Friday evening, featuring apparently AI-generated voice of Harris playing over the visuals of her real campaign ad. The video fakes Harris insults herself as the ultimate diversity hire and a deep state puppet. In response to California Governor Newsom's writing on X that it should be illegal to digitally alter ads like this, which it is, Musk posted earlier Monday morning, "I checked with renowned world authority Professor Suck on These Nuts." He said the parody is legal in America. Musk doubled down in follow-up comments, writing, "Not to mention Pulitzer Prize winner Dr. Head, first name Dick, and Newsom should create an endowed chair at University of California for Professor D's nuts." Now, that's fine to like say something like that, but Elon Musk owns X. Mm-hmm. And what he's been doing is he destroyed X. I can just tell you a couple of things he did. First of all, when you had a check mark on X next to your name, that means you're a professional. You were actually doing stuff, making moves. You're a reputable source. He took it and sold it. So for $5.99 a month, you can just have one of those. And those are the worst people because it's just a bunch of assholes that stay online the whole time. Mm-hmm. He did that. A lot of celebrities left. He made it where it's just. I mean, what I see on there is still wild. I mean, Twitter was just the craziest place. Mm-hmm. You could be scrolling. You could see puppies being born, animal you never seen, hella porn. It was fantastic.
That's the Wild West, huh?
On Twitter, people don't realize what Twitter was. Twitter was the news source, but now it's like a MAGA thing. It's like, but I mean, it's kind of always been like a little bit of stuff, but he shouldn't have it. He's not even American.
I feel like, yeah, exactly. I don't really feel like he's
not even American. Like you want to sell TikTok because it's not owned by an American, but he can own X.
Yeah, he's a citizen, I guess, but in my heart, he's not a true American at all. But I look at it like this. I always had
he should stay out of politics.
I had a feeling when he went in to buy it, it was because of the Arab Spring and they had been utilizing Twitter was being utilized for regime change. Especially in the Middle East and other like more dictatorial type governments, authoritarian, autocratic type governments. They were using them to kind of overthrow these governments, kind of getting information out to the people. And so now he comes in and buys it. And I feel like he had some money given to him from outside investors, whether they're from the Middle East, whoever else, to go and buy Twitter and turn it into what he's turned it into, which is a weapon. So he's weaponized Twitter, which they're going to say Twitter was weaponized against the Republicans and whoever else. They're weaponizing Twitter against the Democratic Party. I feel like he's weaponizing Twitter, using it as a racist weapon as well, too.
Yeah, because he'll let them say whatever they want, but once we start to do it, because you'll see it, they'll report us and we'll get reported, but it's supposed to be open to free speech. Mm-hmm. It wasn't weaponized against Republicans. It was just they was putting out so much false information, they got suspended.
Yep.
Let's keep it real. I mean, you can create lies all you want, but the truth, that's why people watch Fox News and get upset. Because Fox News tells you so many lies. Then you go outside and see nothing is real, and it makes you crazy and insane. But I don't watch Fox, and I don't watch CNN. I really don't watch MSNBC. Like I said, I used to get all my news from Twitter. And now I got to kind of question that.
Why do you say that?
Because some of the stuff be funky. Like the people, actually at first what was happening, he made it so you could like make fake names and accounts and parody accounts. Or people were making fake parody accounts to news things, and they were like harassing Elon Musk. But he suspended the one guy that posted Trump's ear not being shot.
I mean, and a guy in the FBI actually came out and said it. I think he's one of the directors or something like that of the FBI. Came out and was like, "We're not sure if his ear was shot." Then they had to come out and correct it. And a friend of mine sends it to me like, "Hey, it's a correction." Yeah, they're gonna have to because it's too political.
They showed the picture.
It's too political for him to come out and say that without presenting the real evidence of it. Everyone saw the picture. Everyone saw what his ear looked like. He got hit with a bullet or a fragment or whatever he got hit with, whatever you say. But we all saw what really happened. You know what I mean?
Did we? Because I just saw the picture of his ear.
I just saw the picture
of his ear.
Fine. That's what I'm saying. We all saw the ear. The ear looked like it looked. I'm not going to say he wasn't shot.
Someone say he had a McDonald's ketchup packet in his pocket.
I'm not gonna say he wasn't shot because that they said he was shot. Yeah. He was shot. Whatever you want to say, but I mean we all got our opinions, and I feel like I know that a bullet wound. He said I felt the bullet ripped through my ear. That's what he said. Those were his words.
Well, he likes extravagant things.
He does like.
Someone said he's gonna claim that he won a gold medal yesterday.
I mean, absolutely. There's something I kind of want to talk about that's pretty. Yeah. I feel like is a very very important topic. It was the Venezuelan elections. They were held yesterday. It's important to us. I'll kind of read the story first, but protesters clashed with police over disputed Venezuela election results. The National Electoral Authority had proclaimed the incumbent president, Nicolas Maduro, the winner of the voting, handing him a third straight term in office. But opposition candidate Edmundo Gonzalez has said his campaign has proof if it needs to show that he won the election. Mr. Gonzalez and opposition leader Maria Machado told supporters they had obtained more than 70% of the tally sheets from the disputed election, which they said shows Mr. Gonzalez beat Mr. Maduro. I speak to you with calmness of the truth, Mr. Gonzalez said. The will expressed yesterday through your vote will be respected. We have in our hands the tally sheets that demonstrate our victory. Angry protesters were seen on the streets across Venezuela shortly after the National Electoral Council, which is loyal to Mr. Maduro's ruling party, officially declared Mr. Maduro the winner with 51% of the vote compared with 44% for Mr. Gonzalez. Now, there's a whole backstory to this. It starts out with Hugo Chavez. He came in. He took over the party in sometime in the 90s. He came and took over Venezuela. Venezuela used to be the wealthiest country in South America. Venezuela is rich with oil. It has more oil than any other country on earth, more oil than Saudi Arabia. Right? He came and took over. He took them into a socialist path. This was a Democrat, a democratically elected kind of government here. And he took them a socialist path, and from there he started doing business with countries like Russia, and he was talking to Putin about possibly putting a military base in Venezuela, and he also nationalized all of all the oil companies. Pretty much kicked out all the American oil companies, all the other foreign oil companies from probably BP and all the rest of those guys that are like, kicked them out the country, and he started taking out so he could keep all the revenues from oil for himself. But one thing that he didn't understand is that pumping oil out the ground costs money. Understanding how to run this equipment costs money. You got to know how to run the equipment. You got to be able to pay for the equipment. And what they had, the type of oil that they have in that country is like a type of crude oil. It's like it's not the sweet crude. It's like a little bit harder to pump out the ground. So it's like it costs a lot of money to kind of keep these things, the upkeep on all this type of equipment that he has. So basically, and then we start putting sanctions on this country. So it made it even more difficult for this country to function. Then he ends up dying, I think, like in 2011. Maduro is his second in command. Maduro was Chavez's second in command. He comes in pretty much with the same exact ideology as Chavez, and they run the country into the ground. I mean, they had their inflation was jumped by 70%, some kind of crazy number. Their money became pretty much worthless. You need it got to a point to where people started making figurines out of the money on the street and would sell that as to whoever tourists could come there. And we've had sanctions on that country for I'm not sure exactly how many years, but for quite a while. And so it's really driven them into the ground. They had out of 30 million Venezuelans in that country, I believe 7 million of them fled the country. A lot of them came here. I think we opened the door to 500,000 of them. We allowed 500,000 to come here under some type of asylum kind of visa. And they went everywhere else. Colombia, all these other different countries basically fled the country. With this happening yesterday, they said that another maybe 3 to 6 million people may flee the country then. But right now, they're fighting in the streets now.
Yeah, they're in the streets. They're knocking down Hugo Chavez statues. They're tearing them all down. Yeah, they got people. Actually, I got a video of them right now on the streets. You want me to put that up with the people protesting?
Please.
Yeah, as you can see, I mean, the streets are full, and we're not that far away from that. You know what I'm saying? With a stolen election, depending on which side.
Yeah, I mean, and right now, like I said, to me, I think it's very important to us because with them being right in our backyard, this was when Russia came here, just here recently, when they stopped over in Cuba. They do a lot of war, kind of war games or war practicing. They do it with exercises. They do them with Cuba and they do them with Venezuela. That's the only reason why they get to come into our backyard is because of these two countries. And at the same time, we have a problem a lot of times with oil producing countries, OPEC. Basically slashing, the amount of oil that they're going to produce. We got Saudi Arabia, a country that's got way more oil than Saudi Arabia, right in our backyard. That's our perfect friend. That's who we should be dealing with, buying our oil from. Period. Why are we getting oil from countries that are coming across oceans? We can go right down to South America and get as much as we possibly need and probably get it for a good deal. That's why it was very important that Maduro got out of office because he's basically being propped up by China and Russia right now. And so I just feel like we need to really pay attention to them. I'm sending some clips over. I'm hoping we'll be able to play a bunch of these clips. There's a lot of stuff going on. You got the police forces out there taking their uniforms off. They're trying to walk away. I'm good. The citizens. I think this may end up becoming a revolution. We'll see what happens. We'll see if how far the government's willing to send the military and what they're willing to do. If they start killing people in the streets, that's a reason for the UN to go in. I'm not sure if America's going to want to involve themselves or send in help.
Well, you said they're already sending troops to Colombia to stop all the migrants that are about to leave Venezuela.
Because the price of everything is just crazy. I mean, Venezuela probably has almost the lowest costing. They can buy gasoline for some of the cheapest prices because it's pretty much for free out there. And it's not free, but it's pretty much because they got so much of it. But everything else, food costs, everything else is through the roof for them. And they don't have a lot of jobs. People can't work, so they're leaving the country to find work. And so
they have a big gang problem down there too.
Huge. Caracas is the number one most violent city in the world. I mean, you gotta look at the corruption that's going on. You think that he's gonna win? The reason why he did 51%. It's because it looks like he didn't do a Putin.
Even.
Yeah, he didn't do a Putin where Putin's like, I won 90% of the vote. You know what I mean?
And I locked up the guy going against me because he needed to go.
And another thing, I forgot to talk about this. The two people that the woman that did run against him, the one I was telling you guys about, her name's Maria Mercado. She was actually.
He said Putin was like 98%. They still love me.
It don't even matter. So a lot of people do that. They don't even try.
I wonder
to
how
look
Trump's
like
going
it
to do
was
it this
fair.
year because they're going to cheat.
They don't even look like, they'll try to make it look like it's fair. But Maria Mercado, she actually won the primary for her party to run against Maduro. She won like 90-something% of the vote to run against him. But then he came out like, oh, nope, you can't run because when you were in she wasn't in that office, but she was in another part of the government. So you did some type of a fraud, lied on her, basically got her kicked out so the people can't vote for her. She went and got another guy, which was the other guy, Edmundo Gonzalez. He's like kind of almost like he's a very older gentleman, very quiet, talks really slow. She got him to kind of stand in her place to run. And it's a long story to get into what's been going down in Venezuela, but it's very, very important that we pay attention to it because I think it's a game changer for us what happens with our neighbor. So you know,
and so we'll keep you updated here, man. This is Uncommon Courtesy. We're gonna see y'all next time.